Hi, this is Alan from Alpus Group, Property Investment and Development Strategy, video 2 of a series of 6 free training videos. Site finding is step 1 of our 5-step development strategy. That's what we're going to talk about in this video. Here are our contact details for Alpus Group: www.alpusgroup.com, contact Alan at alpusgroup.com, telephone me on 07539141257. I've got Skype, WhatsApp and FaceTime also on that number. If you want a free contracts checklist from Alpus Group, go to the link shown on the video, which I'm going to put in the description down below. And also for further property development training, should you be interested, there's another link which will take you to that property training as well. Introduction to Alpus Group. Alpus was founded in Slovenia in 2015, is based within the European Union, also in the United Kingdom. Alpus operates in the UK, in Europe, that's within and out with the EU, and in the Middle East and South Africa. About Alpus Group achievements. Alpus Group has property assets in the United Kingdom, in Europe and beyond. Alpus has a track record of project management success over many years for public and commercial clients. Our culture, Alpus Group creates property wealth through the application of project management, technical and financial expertise and resources towards leveraging additional value on its assets. Ethos. Alpus Group applies its expertise and technology for the benefit of its customers and shareholders. This is a picture of me. I've got extensive experience in the management of property development and infrastructure projects in the UK and internationally. I started working for a building contractor in Hampshire in the UK when I was 16 years old, and I've worked for various top-tier consultants and clients, and I'll show you references and testimonials in other videos. But for this video, we're going to concentrate on site finding. So Alpus has many opportunities in the UK property market during the next 3 to 5 years in the following sectors: residential property, that's affordable homes; family accommodation, executive homes; retirement homes and student accommodation. And part of the opportunity is as a result of changes of use case legislation, that's permitted rights for development, which the UK government has introduced, enabling conversion of use from commercial to residential purposes. That's repurposing from a low value relatively to a relatively higher value, and that's really the means of getting a return on your investment in the UK property market. So strategy 1 is permitted rights developments, commercial to residential. As I mentioned, that's changing offices or retail space to residential. In some cases, there are permitted development rights for vacant space above retail premises, which can be done quite easily. Strategy 2 is development and permission for changes of use, commercial or industrial to residential. So this means that if it doesn't fall in permitted development rights, we would seek planning permission. And in order to do that, we might take out an option to purchase on a site. Alternatively, we may buy the site outright if we think that the risk of getting planning permission is relatively low. Strategy 3 is we carry out joint ventures with property owners. So approach 1 is site acquisition and development of commercial sites for residential under permitted development. Approach 2 is site acquisition and development of residential sites for affordable housing and other types, which I mentioned previously: executive housing, student accommodation, retirement homes and so on. And approach 3 is joint ventures with property owners. These are the 5 steps of the development strategy which we have. Step 1 is identify sites, and that's what we're going to be talking about in this video. In the following videos in the series, that's 3, 4, 5 and 6, we'll talk about the next steps of the process: preliminary design and feasibility, planning permission and site acquisition, marketing and sales, and detailed design and construction. So Alpus looks for property development sites from various sources. We pay a commission for introduction of sites that we may follow up and complete on. And we use available internet websites such as Rightmove, Zoopla, On the Market, etc., as well as all the usual residential and commercial estate agents websites. We also use Nimbus maps in conjunction with the above websites in order to carry out further investigation about particular sites we're interested in. And we also carry out joint ventures with property owners. So video 2, which is this one, is step 1 of our process of identification of sites, and then video 3, 4, 5 and 6 follow on with the rest of the development process, which we'll go through in future videos. Step 1, identify sites. These are our details, and I already told you those at the beginning of the video. So what we're going to do is go now to this is a site that I was looking at a little bit earlier today before coming on this video, and it's one that I found via Zoopla. It's a restaurant and car park adjacent. It's got potential for development, and it's got the adjacent land, which presumably is the car park, possibly some additional land which we can apply for planning permission for development on. And what we need to do once we've identified such a site is go to Nimbus Maps, which is another proprietary software that we use, and we can look there about the development potential of this site. Hi, here we are on my PDA. What this is a proprietary piece of software. It's short for My Property Development Assistant, and it enables you to carry out site sourcing from within this app. I'm just highlighting their site sourcing on the menu up above. And what you can do is you can set up alerts. I'll just create a new alert for demonstration purposes. I've already got 2 commercial alerts set up. So we create a new alert. The source of the data is Zoopla or Nimbus Maps, which we'll also look at shortly. Commercial or residential, well, what we'll do is we'll look for commercial for sale, because what we're looking for generally is opportunities to convert relatively low value commercial buildings into residential use. So we won't put any limits. We can look at a postcode which we'll say is SO32, which is the code for this current site in Waltham Cross. Property type, we can look at all, because that gives us all the options, and that will show us offices, retail premises, industrial, leisure, hospitality, as well as land. And then we see all the opportunities in the area. And then we'll look at a search area of within 40 miles from that location. So save and search. That's setting up the search at the moment. And if we go to property alert 33, that's for SO32. It comes up with the same site that we were looking at on our initial search, and then it also gives us some other opportunities we can look at in New Milton, Bournemouth, and there's another one here which I was looking at earlier, Aldershot Bus Station. So we'll talk about that one separately. Maybe we'll do a feasibility study on that in a future video. But this is the one we're looking at the moment. So we've got the item in in MyPDA from Zoopla. And what we're going to do, because it looks as if it could be of interest, we're going to create a project within MyPDA. So this enables us to track as we go through and check through our process steps 2 through to 5 if we proceed to develop this site. So within MyPDA, it enables us to manage our projects as well. And you'll see that we've got this project has just been added from Zoopla, and we can have a look at it. There's one in Zoopla already which we have already been looking at, Kings Langley project. This one is now visible to us. So we've got the project name, asking price. We can rename that later. We've got the link to Zoopla. We've got a brief description and the postcode of where it is. It's the Anatolian Turkish restaurant in Waltham Cross. And we can go then and do a quick deal analysis, which is the next step. This will come up in video 3, which will be the preliminary design and feasibility study, because what we want to do is we want to, having identified this site as having potential, we want to be in a position where we can take it to a conclusion, whether it's going to be a feasible project which we want to make an offer on or not. So what we can do is we can go to Nimbus Maps, which we'll do here, and I've already identified this is the location that we're talking about, the Anatolian Turkish takeaway, and it looks like this is a leasehold. That's what the L means there, and we can go to the information panel. For that particular site. Winchester Road, its title number is this. This is a unique title number, and we can find the owner if we want to download a report which will cost us £3, but we probably don't need to do that at the moment because we've got information which we can get from the agents who are selling. We can also get register and lease schedule and a Nimbus report about this site. So we'll just see what Nimbus has got to say about that. We'll go back to that in just a minute. We've got a site area of 0.813 acres in one site. We've got building footprint, 2 buildings. One is 227 square meters, the other one is 54 square meters. And we've got information about building heights, chimney height, 4.0 meters for building 1 and 9.3 meters for building 2. We've got information about the former use. It was the Country Inn in Winchester Road, Waltham Chase. We can find out the price paid. So what this is telling us that overall properties in Winchester Road had an overall average price of £333,000 over the last year. Sold prices in Winchester Road over the last year were 44% down on the 2011 peak. So this is background information about properties sold in the area. Here's 25 other properties in that area. that have been sold, and we can use these for comparables of what our selling price might be if we can gain planning permission for units on this particular site. So this is all background information, but what it's telling us is that it could be a site that is of interest, and we can get a lot of information from Nimbus maps. Let's have a look at some other information. The overlays, this is what we want to look at. The planning overlay tells us about applications in the area. Well, it looks like there was one application over here, probably for an extension, but we can go and have a look at that. Yes, extension to hard surfaced areas east of the building, and we can look at the results of that planning application to Winchester, see what happened to it, whether it was approved or not. There's a reference, land to the rear of the forest farm, lawful development certificate for that extension to the rear surface area. No big issue there. If we wanted to, we could look at further information had the planning application been more of interest to us. But we can look at the planning policy in the area, and we can go to the homepage of the Winchester planning policy by clicking on these links here. Homepage. We can go in to the Winchester Council site and look at that. We won't do that at the moment because we're still at a very early stage on this one, and it just gives us information about the planning portal. We can do some research in the planning portal when we know what we're going to develop on the side, whether we're going to maybe apply for demolition and rebuilding of a number of houses, or demolition and building of flats, or to retain the house and to develop it for some other purpose. But generally our aspiration is for residential out of commercial. So the other thing that we're looking at for here is that whether this is in a flood zone. Now this is going to be a killer for this site because it's in a flood zone, and what we don't want to do is to do developments in a flood zone because it has issues to do with future financing. And I know people do developments in flood zones. There's one not far from where I'm located at the moment, but I don't think it's a very desirable practice. What you tend to have to do is to raise the level of the buildings. One development I did, we had to raise the level of buildings by a metre to raise it above the risk level. So I think we're going to leave this particular site and move on to the next one, because why would we want to develop in a site that has high flood risk? So we'll close out of here. I think we've probably seen enough. We've looked at my PDA, which is the means of managing your workflow for potential development sites. We've looked at this particular site, which we've discovered is in a flood zone, although it did look as if it had some potential for development. So I don't think our company would be interested in doing that one because of this flood zone issue. So what we'll do is we'll take this one and we'll delete it from our workflow. Yes, we are sure, because we don't want to develop in a flood zone. We'll keep the job in Kings Langley. That one's, the negotiations are still ongoing for that one. And what we'll do is just go back, give you our contact details, which we mentioned at the beginning of the video. www.alpusgroup.com. Alpus Projects Limited, located in the UK. Alpus DOO is in Slovenia. contact Alan at alpusgroup.com, telephone Alan on 07539 141257. Should you want a free contracts checklist from Alpus Group, go to this link here, which I'll put in the description below the video. Or should you want to participate in any further property development training, go to this link. And we'll look forward to seeing you in the next video, which will be video 3, which will explain to you about preliminary design and feasibility study. Okay, cheers for now.